Greetings, wonderful audience. Amarjit here from Amar PTE classes. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing fantastic. Do subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed yet. In this video, I'm going to discuss listening filling the blanks. So we will do predictions. So keep your pen and paper ready along with this video. Along with this video, I will share some important tips and the grammar rules for the listening filling the blanks. And if you are planning your exam in July 2024, then you have to go through these listening filling the blanks. And this listening filling the blanks is very important task in the listening as well as in the writing, because it contributes 7 marks in the listening section and same 7 marks in the writing section. And proofreading is very important and in this listening filling the blanks. So do proofreading after completing your task and you will get 2 to 3 questions in the final exam, and in one question you will get 4 to 5 filling the blanks. So do properly, do proofreading and check your spelling. So let's start without wasting of time. Keep your pen and paper ready. So we will do the predictions. So let's start. This is the first one.
So between 4000 and 3000 BC, the Mesopotamian Sumerian cultures do not practice any kind of burial. And then, about 3000, in the early dynastic period, these burials start to reappear, and they reappear with a certain amount of conspicuous consumption, and this is the context for the royal burials at Ur. Okay, so, the royal cemetery consists of quite a number of pits, so these are the excavation workers who are coming down into the pits, so you get some sense of how really deep and how really difficult it was to construct these chambers.
So do practice at 1.2 and always practice with different accents. So first one is the practice. Check your spellings. Next is amount of. Conspicuous, C-O-N-S, then P-I-C, then U-O-U-S, conspicuous. Next, these are the excavation, and here it is chambers. From this word you can guess here it will be plural, because if you are confused between s and singular, then you can check the options, means you have to check the context before blanks and after blanks. So let's check it. It's all correct. Note down the spellings of conspicuous and excavation. Keep your cursor here.
Belief is the human capacity to imagine, to be creative, to hope and dream, to infuse the world with meanings, and to cast our aspirations far and wide, limited neither by personal experience nor material reality. Believing is a commitment, an investment, a devotion to possibilities. Beliefs permeate neurobiologies, bodies, and ecologies, acting as dynamic agents in evolutionary processes. The human capacity for belief, the specifics of belief, and our diverse belief systems shape, structure, and alter our daily lives, our societies, and the world around us.
So in first one it's material reality. Next, believing is a commitment. So commitment with double M but single T. So here it is A. So with A we use singular, commitment. Next is beliefs permeate. Next is specifics. The human capacity for the belief, then specifics of belief. Check your spellings of commitment and permeate.
In this tutorial, we will show you how to find specific journal articles using the library catalogue. The university subscribes to over 18,000 journals across a variety of subjects, most of which are available electronically. To find a specific journal article using the library catalogue, we need to search by the journal name, as individual article titles are not listed in the catalogue.
So in the first one it subscribes. Next is electronically with double L. So it's get wrong in the second one. It's electronically with double ly. Next is search. With to we use first form of verb search. Next one is listed because the sentence is in the past form. Subscribes electronically, search, then listed.
The thing that makes it difficult is because even if life had evolved on Mars, the chances of it being preserved are very small. If we use Earth as a reference and our planet is teeming with life, yet it rarely preserves evidence of life in the fossil record. And the focus now is on exploring for habitable environments. You're looking for water, a source of energy, either solar energy or thermal energy or chemical energy, and then organic carbon, assuming life as we know it on Earth based on carbon. So those are sort of the three things that we're looking for in the course of our mission.
So here it is A. With A we use singular. Again it is A. We again use singular with A. So first one is Earth as a reference. Earth as a reference. Next is for habitable environments. Next is a source of energy. Next is organic. Click on the next button. Keep your cursor here.
For a long time now, it's been a widely accepted and rarely questioned belief that a strong corporate culture goes hand in hand with success. However, a recent study has cast some doubt on this principle. After all, the authors of the report argue for culture. A company's build-up may be strong, but wrong. There is little point in every employee marching to the same tune if they are all marching in the wrong direction.
So first one is widely accepted and rarely questioned, has cast, then authors, next one is employ. So you have to write employ with double E. Widely accepted and rarely questioned, study has cast, the third form of cast is cast, then authors, then employ.
Also, malaria is something that is a very complex disease with this complex life cycle. That means that if you're going to eliminate it, you have to be able to target cute parasites in humans. You have to be able to target parasites in the mosquitoes, that mosquito population. And so that requires a lot of resources. It requires really good planning in a health system across all these different levels. And so I think the political capital that you need for that, the educational infrastructure you need for that, the economic resources you need for that are quite a challenge.
So first one is to, first form of verb, eliminate, then mosquito population, different levels, because here it is these different. With different we use plural form of verb. Next is educational infra. So first write infra, then structure. And quite a challenge. Let's check the spellings. Check your spellings as well.
Now that story has been scotched as a part of a contingency planning, but it was a symptom of the dramatic turn of events in South Australia, and it flushed out other remarks from water academics and people like Tim Flannery, indicating that things are really much worse than had been foreshadowed even earlier this year. So is Adelaide, let alone some whole regions of South Australia, in serious bother? Considering that the vast amount of its drinking water comes from the beleaguered Miri, something many of us outside the state may not have quite realized. Is there a predicament, something we have to face up to as a nation?
So it's a little bit difficult. First one is contingency, CONTINGENCY. We will check the spellings later. Next one is academics. What are academics? Next is had been. So with had been we use third form of verb. So here the answer is foreshadowed. So first write for, F-O-R-E, then shadowed. Here it is shadow, then write ed. Foreshadowed. Foreshadowed. Now next is beleaguered. Beleaguered. Next is predicament. I am not sure in spellings of this particular blank, so let's check the spellings. All are correct. Contingency, academics, foreshadowed, beleaguered, predicament. It's little bit difficult, but you can get the same blank in the final exam, so note down the spellings very carefully and do the proofreading in the end.
There are some 250 million cars in America, 250 million cars in a country with just over 300 million people. And most of those vehicles, of course, are gas-powered. This poses a huge challenge given the limited supplies of oil and the growing urgency of the global warming crisis. But there's good news, according to our guests today, and that is we have the know-how and the technology to build sleek, fast automobiles that don't use gasoline. These vehicles of tomorrow are powered by hydrogen, electricity, biofuels, and digital technology, and they already exist. So what's stopping us from putting them on the roads? Our guest today will help answer that.
So first one is, this poses a huge challenge. CHALLENG, challenge. Next is technology. To build sleek, fast automobiles. Stopping. So let's check the spellings.
These two paintings, both called sunflowers, are generally accepted as the finest of several depictions of the thick-stemmed, nodding blooms that Van Gogh made in 1888 and 1889 during his time in Arles. The first is now in the collection of the National Gallery in London, and the second is in the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam. Van Gogh referred to this work as a repetition of the London painting. But art historians and curators have long been curious to know how different this repetition is from the first. Should it be considered a copy, an independent artwork, or something in between? An extensive research project conducted over the past 3 years by conservation experts at both the National Gallery and the Van Gogh Museum has concluded that the second painting was not intended as an exact copy of the original example, said Ella Hendricks, a professor of conservation and restoration at the University of Amsterdam, who was the lead researcher on the project.
So first one is the depictions, because here it is several. With several we use S. So depiction, check your spellings of depictions. DEPICTIONS. Depiction. So here it is A, so we use singular here. So here it is repetition. So you can check your spellings from here also. Repetition. It is given in the blank. TITION. Repetition. Next is curious. An extensive. Original.
To begin with, you should be standing on the main floor of the British Library. British Library is situated in the Euston Road next to some pipe crustacean press, in the foyer to the left of the information desk. It was a large white staircase. Follow this up towards the gallery at the top of the stairs, pause and look to your left for attention. This is Robert Cotton, born in 1570, and died in 1631. Cotton was a member of Parliament, but he's mainly known as a great antiquarian collector of manuscripts. It is the covenant we have a great depth and the survival of many English manuscripts.
So first one is on the main floor. Next is left of the information desk. Next is stairs. And next one is collector.
Rebuilding carbon-rich agriculture soils is the only real productive permanent solution to taking excess carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. She's frustrated that scientists and politicians don't see the same opportunities she sees. This year Australia will emit just over 600 million tons of carbon. We can sequester 685 million tons of carbon by increasing soil carbon by 0.5% on only 2% of the farms. If we increased it on all of the farms, we could sequester the whole world's emissions of carbon.
So first one is permanent solution. Permanent. Next is she's frustrated. Frus, then trated. Next is emit. Next one is increasing soil carbon. Next is whole. So you can get confused between HOLE whole and WHOLE whole. So here it is word worlds. So with worlds word you can guess here it is whole world's emission of carbon. So let's check it.
Brooke and her colleague Mark Newman studied who swapped messages with whom on a popular online dating platform in the month of January 2014. They categorized users by desirability using PageRank, one of the algorithms behind search technology. Essentially, if you receive a dozen messages from desirable users, you must be more desirable than someone who receives the same number of messages from average users. And then they asked how far out of their league do online daters tend to go when pursuing a partner.
I think people are optimistic realists.
In other words, they found that both men and women tended to pursue mates just 25% more desirable than themselves.
So they're being optimistic, but they're also taking into account their own relative position within this overall desirability hierarchy.
And the study did have a few more lessons for people on the market.
I think one of the take-home messages from the study is women could probably afford to be more aspirational in their mate pursuit.
So first one is popular. Next one is desirability. So if you are confused in the spellings of desirability, then you can check your spellings from here also. So let's write the spellings. Otherwise you can check it from here. DESIRABILED. First you have to write desire, then ability. Next, essentially. So write the E capital because the line stop here. Here it is full stop. So after full stop, if you are starting the line, then you have to write the first letter capital. So here it is essentially with double LY. Next is messages, because number of. Realist, few more. So here it is more, then we use plural. And next one is mate.
Financial markets swung wildly yesterday in frenzied trading market by further selling of equities and fears about an unraveling of the global carry trade. At the same time, trading in the European credit markets in London was exceptionally heavy as traders frantically reassessed their appetite for risk, prompting wild swings in the prices of the key derivatives. It was the third day of frenetic activity in the European credit markets, suggesting that equity market swings were prompting a wider repositioning of investors in a host of asset classes.
So first one is selling of equities. So you can check the spelling of equity here. Then you have to make this equity in the plural form. Then you can write like equities, EQUITIES, and fears, because here it is plural, then again it is plural. Was exceptionally, with double LY, exceptionally. Swings, repositioning of investors. Here it is I missing, so TIES. Check your spellings. Equities.
For many years, the favorite horror story about abrupt climate change was that a shift in ocean currents could radically cool Europe's climate. These currents, called the overturning circulation, bring warm water and warm temperatures north from the equator to Europe. Susan Lozier, an oceanographer at Duke University, says scientists have long worried that this ocean circulation could be disrupted.
So first one is abrupt. Abrupt. Next is radically. CALLY. Circulation. Next is oceanographer. So first you have to write oceano. Here it is spelling of oceano. Then grapher.
For all his fame and celebration, William Shakespeare remains a mysterious figure with regards to personal history. There are just two primary sources for information on the bard, his works, and various legal and church documents that have survived from Elizabethan times. Naturally, there are many gaps in this body of information, which tells us little about Shakespeare the man.
So first one is mysterious. Mysterious. Next one is church documents. Next is gaps. Because here it is many. So from many word you can guess it will be plural. Mysterious, church documents, then gaps.
Lawrence Stephen Lowry RBS Raw was an English artist. Many of his drawings and paintings depict Pendlebury, Lancashire, where he lived and worked for more than 40 years, and also Salford and its surrounding areas. Lowry is famous for painting scenes of life in the industrial districts of northwest England in the mid-20th century. He developed a distinctive style of painting and is best known for his urban landscapes peopled with human figures often referred to as Matchstick Man. He painted mysterious unpopulated landscapes, brooding portraits and the unpublished marionette works which were only found after his death.
So in the first blank, before blank, here it is ed form of verb. So we use here ed form of verb. So here it is worked. Because again it is ed and here it will also ed. Next is in the industrial. Proofreading is very important in this task. With a we use singular. Distinctive. Distinctive style of painting. Then matchstick. Don't put a hyphen between match and stick. So you have to write matchstick like this. Then portraits. PORT pot, then rates.
In animals, a movement is coordinated by a cluster of neurons in the spinal cord called the central patterns generator (CPG). This produces signals that drive muscles to contract rhythmically in a way that produces running or walking, depending on the pattern of pulses. A simple signal from the brain instructs the CPG to switch between different modes, such as going from a standstill to walking.
So first one is pattern. So here central with C capital, generator with G capital. So we will write patterns with P capital. So take care of these things during listening, filling the blanks. With to we use first form of verb. Contract. Different moods. Stand still.
A majority of U.S. high school students say they get bored in class every day, and more than 1 out of 5 has considered dropping out, according to a survey released on Wednesday. The survey of 81,000 students in 26 states found 2/3 of high school students complain of boredom, usually because the subject matter was irrelevant or their teachers didn't seem to care about them.
So first one is they get bored. Next 1 out of 5. Next is complaint of boredom. was irrelevant. First one is they get bored. Next is 1 out of 5. Then boredom, BOREDOM. Then next is irrelevant. Click on the next button. Keep your cursor here.
Well, in 2004 we integrated ticketing in southeast Queensland, so we have introduced a paper ticket that allowed you to travel across all the 3 modes in southeast Queensland, so bus, train and ferry, and the second stage of integrated ticketing is the introduction of a smart card, and the smart card will enable people to store a value, so to put a value on the card, and then to use the card for traveling around the system.
So have, with have we use third form of verb, so here it is introduced. Introduced. Next is 3 modes, bus, train and ferry. With 2 again we use first form of verb to store a value. Introduce, have we use third form of verb, 3 then with 3 we use a plural form, ferry, then store a value.
Those of you who've never heard the term Neo-Latin may be forgiven for thinking it's a new South American dance craze. If you're puzzled when I tell you it has something to do with the language of Romans, take heart. Over the years many classes who have confessed they are not really sure what it is either. Some have assumed that they are so-called Late Latin, written at the end of the Roman Empire. Others have supposed it must have something to do with the Middle Ages. Or perhaps it's that pseudo-Latin which my 5- and 7-year-old boys seem to have gleaned from the Harry Potter books, useful for spells and curses that they zip one another with makeshift paper ash ones. No, in fact, Neo-Latin is more or less the same as the Latin that was written in the ancient world, Classical Latin. So, what's so new about it?
So in this blank we have you are. So with are we use third form of verb. Then again we have. So with have we use third form of verb, because in this are the sentence is in the passive voice. Next again we have. So again we use third form of verb. Then again have. Again we use ed form of verb. With the we use noun. So if you get confused in the listening, then you can guess from here. So in the first one it's puzzled, then confessed, CONFESSED, then assumed, then gleaned, then ancient. Check your spellings.
For the first time, Japanese researchers have conducted a real-life experiment that shows how some traffic jams appear for no apparent reason. They placed the 22 vehicles on a single track and asked the drivers to cruise around at a constant speed of 30 kilometers an hour. At first, traffic moves smoothly, but soon, the distance between cars started to vary and vehicles clumped together at one point on the track, but the jam spread backward around the track like a shockwave at a rate of about 20 kilometers an hour. Real-life jams move backward at about the same speed.
So 22 vehicles on a. So with a we use singular, single track. Then at a constant speed. Started to vary. To first form of verb. Then jams spread backward.
The effect of the first difference is, on the other hand, to refine and enlarge the public views, by passing them through the medium of a chosen body of citizens, whose wisdoms may best discern the true interest of their country, and whose patriotism and love of justice will be least likely to sacrifice it to temporary or partial considerations.
First one is refine and enlarge through the medium whose wisdom may patriotism. Patriotism. I think these are the correct. Patriotism. Patriotism. Partial considerations. So all correct. Check the spellings of patriotism.
The ocean has been getting bluer, according to a study published in the journal Nature. But that's not really good news for the planet. It means that the plants that give the ocean its green tint aren't doing well. Scientists say that's because the ocean has been getting warmer.
First one is bluer. Next is planet. Next is green. Last one is warmer. So it's easy.
Along the way, we have built unashamedly beautiful buildings, 2 of which have won and been runner-up in the prestigious United Nations World Habitat Award, the first time an Australian building has received that international honour. We rely on older concepts of Australian architecture that are heavily influenced by the bush. All residents have private verandas which allows them to socialize outdoors and also creates some defensible space between their bedrooms and public areas. We use a lot of natural or soft materials and build beautifully landscaped gardens.
So first one is unashamedly. So first write un, then as, then hamedly. UNASHAMEDLY, unashamedly. Let's check spellings. Next one is habitat. So write habitat with capital letter H, HIBITAT, because world with W capital, award with A capital. Habitat. Older concepts. Socialize. Lot of natural. Check your spellings of unashamedly. UN un, then ashame, then glee. Habitat, concepts, socialize, natural.
What is nanotechnology? Well, a report that was put together by a combination of the Royal Society and the Royal Academy of Engineering that came out last summer identified 2 topics. Nanoscience is the study of the phenomenon and the manipulation of materials at atomic, molecular and macromolecular scales, where properties differ significantly from those on a larger scale. Nanotechnologies are the design, characterization, production, and application of structures, devices, and systems by controlling shape and size at the nanometer scale. So I'll talk a little bit more in a moment about what a nanometer is, but loosely speaking, people think of nanotechnologies as being a sort of 100 nanometers or less.
So first one is by a combination last summer. So if you are talking about last summer, then we do the thing in the past. Then here it is identified, because the speaker was talking about the past. Identified. Next is study of the phenomenon. And next is macromolecular. First write macro, then you can check the spelling of molecular here. So don't use the space between macro and molecular. Application of structures, because here it is devices, systems, but loosely. So in loosely we use double O. Let's check it. Phenomenon, macromolecular and loosely. So this one is the last blank from the prediction, July 2024.
Dogs aren't just man's best friend. Previous studies have shown that kids with dogs are less likely to develop asthma. Now a new study may show how, if results from mice apply to us. The work was presented at a meeting of the American Society for Microbiology. The study tests what's called the hygiene hypothesis. The idea is that extreme cleanliness may actually promote disease later on. Researchers collected dust from homes that had a dog. They fed that house dust to mice. They then infected the mice with a common childhood infection called respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV. Mice who ate the dog dust were protected against RSV infection symptoms, like inflamed, mucus-coated airways, suggesting exposure helped them stave off the virus. Those mice also had more diverse communities of gut bacteria than control mice did. Researchers say our pets' microbes may colonize our gut too, and help the immune system learn to respond to infections. That's important because when kids develop severe RSV, their risk of asthma goes up. So next time Buster sheds all over the couch, think of it as a bonus dose of probiotics.
Bonus. So first one is hygiene. Next is childhood. So don't use space between child and hood. Next is exposure, colonize, respond, and bonus. So let's check these spellings. So this is all from my side, and these are the predictions and most important blanks. If you are planning your exam in July 2024, then all the best and go through these listening, filling the blanks. And if you have any type of questions regarding PTE, then you can write in the comment box or you can mail me. My email ID is amarpteclasses@gmail.com, and if you want to take online and offline classes, then my number is given in the description box. You can check from there, and any kind of help you can write in the comment box and mail me. And share these videos with your friends and do subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video.